All right. Welcome back, guys. It has been a while, and I'm going to try to bring you up to speed on what's been going on. Since the last time we were here in the game, we left off and I was doing a fertilizing contract on field number 5 up here. That has since been done. I've done a few other contracts since then. I was actually recording all of that, but the recording thing is just not really working out. The live streaming is really, I think, much better for me, at least at this point. So I didn't keep the recordings, and I decided to start. I just kind of come back and bring you guys up to date with where we're at. So I did some contracting, earned some money. You can see, I think when we left off, it was about, I was part way through field number 5, and we had about $12,000. We now have about almost $95,000. We've done a big sugar beet, not big, but a good sugar beet harvest, which was a good one. We also just did this canola harvest, and one of the cool things about this is once you sell the entire harvest, you meet the demand of the contract for the harvest, whatever crop is left over, you then just get to sell, and it's just money going into your pocket. As you can see, while tipping this trailer, we completed the contract, but there was still canola left, and in selling that, we got $15,700. It's one of the reasons I love harvest contracts, because I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but you only have to satisfy a certain percentage. Basically, when a harvest contract comes up, the computer calculates what the yield should be, and let's say for this canola field, let's say it was 50,000 liters or something. And then there's a percentage that you have to meet, that you have to deliver to the sell point in order to satisfy the contract, as well as it also counts towards your percentage when you actually harvest the field. So both the harvesting of the field and the delivering of the crop to the sell point increase your percentage of done on the contract. I think it's like 95%. I've heard 95% from other people. I don't know if that's right. It seems to be pretty close to me. But that leaves you then with a little bit of crop left over, especially if you harvest the entire field and you do it well and don't leave a bunch of stuff in there. It leaves you with a good amount of crop at the end to sell. And that crop, I mean, you don't have to sell it. I suppose you could keep it if you wanted to, but that crop can then be sold, and that money just goes straight to you in your bank account. So we're going to sell this last little bit of canola, and then we'll finish that contract, and that's going to put us at, we're going to be a little over $110,000, probably be around $111,000 or $112,000. And then we finish the contract. We'll get, I don't know, we might be close to 120 by the time we do everything here. Just go ahead and finish our contract. Oh, it wasn't worth as much as I thought. Well, that's okay. I mean, as you can see, we get $7,000 for the contract. After leasing the equipment for it, they took $1,000 of that away from us. So we really only got $6,000 from doing the contract. But we got almost probably $17,000 from the extra crop. So we over doubled what we made from the contract just by selling the crop, which is the reason I love doing harvesting contracts. They can also be a great way, like if you want to get into horses, but you don't have oats yet, you could do an oat harvesting contract, and then those extra oats, just use the trailer that's provided by the contract to go dump it, or if you're using your own trailer, go dump it at your farm. And there you go. Now you have oats, at least to get you started. So, all right, we'll collect our money for that. So I mean, you can see we've made some good progress. We're up to $117,000 now. Unfortunately, we haven't really made much progress in terms of crop growth yet. But something did happen while we were gone, and that is weeds. Lovely weeds. So weeds grew at some point. So we're going to have to take care of that. Luckily, we have the sprayer at the farm. So all we need to really go do is go spray off these fields. And then we got to figure out what we want to do next. I was looking around and I got a little worried because I thought, I was thinking maybe we could get into sheep or possibly horses. Like something like that would be fun to get into. But we don't own this land, so can we even get into them? But I looked at it and I think 99% sure we can, because we actually own the sheep pastures and all the other pastures for that matter. So I think even though we don't own the land, we can get into these. We just won't be able to store any loose materials in any of the sheds around there. So if we were going to store like loose hay for the sheep, for instance, we wouldn't be able to do that because we wouldn't be able to dump it to the ground there. But that's not an issue for us, because we would, if we were going to do sheep, we would bale the hay anyway. All right, let's back up here. We need to, before we can get going on all the spraying, we actually need to empty this out. So one of the reasons that I got this sprayer was because you can do both fertilizer and herbicide with it. So but we had fertilizer in it last, and I need to put herbicide in it, so we got to unload the fertilizer. I love that feature. That is such a cool addition, Farming Simulator 19, that they allow you to unload sprayers and things like that. Awesome addition. It used to be that you kind of had to have two different sprayers. Well, herbicide wasn't a thing until 19, but if you couldn't reuse something like that because you can empty it out. It also works really well for contracts. So if you buy fertilizer for contracts but you rent the sprayer or something, you can empty it out before you return it, and then you can keep that fertilizer for yourself. All right, let's get going on here. Oh no, whoa, stop. We have crop destruction on, and we just drove over our crops with these big old wheels. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Shoot. That was silly. Alright, can we get care wheels on this tractor? Pretty sure we can. Customize it. Wheel setup, wides. Narrows. There we go. I really like this. I love this look, or even this look, like the narrow twins all around. That's really cool. But I really like this rear narrow tires. Unfortunately, it's $2,500 compared to just $1,000 to do regular ones. So I don't think I can justify going for it just because I like it. We're going to go for the regular single care wheels, but now we should be able to go spray our field, hopefully without destroying our entire crop. You would think I had not played Farming Simulator very much before, but I have. I've played a lot of Farming Simulator, actually. Okay, well, that's annoying. I'm going to have to go fix that weight at some point, but I don't want to deal with it right now, so I'm going to just leave it. It tipped over, and now I can get to it. Let's try this again. Our grass that we mowed originally has also regrown some. So if you turn grass on here and we go to... Oh, so it's in the growing stages. It's not to where we could harvest it again quite yet, but it is in the growing stages. So before too long, you can see it's grown more than when we actually mowed it. We should be able to harvest this again. And since we made a pretty good amount of money from those silage bales, I'm definitely looking forward to being able to harvest that grass again and do more silage bales. We're probably going to do a lot of silage bales, but at this point, this is the land that we own, and in between doing harvests, this is what we have available to us. But I'm ready I've done quite a bit of contracting. You guys haven't seen much of it, but if you don't know what contracting's like, the job that we did, it's all kind of like that. You do jobs, so we'll end up doing more contracting anyway. I'm ready to get into something different now. We have 3 fields, and fields is that's the thing that's been in Farming Simulator forever. So I want to get into something a little bit different, and I think that's going to be animals. We could either do animals or we could do forestry. Either of those would be kind of cool, but I think I want to get into animals. Now, for Farming Simulator 19, there were a couple of new animals. Well, there was one new animal. Since we're kind of doing a 1917 mashup here, there's another new animal for, I believe, in 17. Do we have pigs in 17? Now I can't even remember. Pigs might have been new for 17. I seem to remember playing Goldcrest Valley and going up to the pig farm, which was right here. And this map is actually, I've driven around this map quite a bit. This is a pretty faithful recreation of Goldcrest Valley. Some of the buildings are a little different, and I think maybe some of the roads are just a little bit different, but everything's pretty much in the same place. It uses the base FS19 animal pens, so those look a little different than they did in 17. But you know, you gotta work with what you got, basically. So they're all in the same places, though. The only kind of exception is the horses, because horses were new for FS19. So obviously they wouldn't have been in the original Goldcrest Valley map. Pigs, I think, were new for FS17. If I remember correctly, pigs and sugar beets kind of came in together. So either pigs or horses is kind of tempting to do, because those were kind of the new animals in 17 and 19. Horses being the new ones for 19. My only issue with horses, though, is, you know, to get your money out of them, you go ride them every day. And if you're going to have several of them, you have to ride several of them every day for like 10 days to be able to get your money. So it makes for some fairly repetitive gameplay, which I think is the biggest issue with horses. So I'm not sure. I mean, it would be really cool to do horses and show off that new animal from FS19, but at the same time, I'm afraid they're going to get old really quickly. Pigs, we could do pigs, but pigs are going to require, you know, some equipment to get into. Basically, you make money off of pigs by selling the new pigs. They reproduce very quickly. You sell the new pigs off, and that's how you make money. And kind of in order to do that most efficiently, you need an animal trailer to be able to sell them. You're not going to make very much money if you're constantly paying the transport fees to sell the pigs that you're getting. So there would be a little equipment required there. Sheep are just, I don't know, sheep are tempting because sheep, they require so little. You give them hay, you give them water, and they're good. You know, you don't have to do much with them. You can let the wool build up and then go sell it whenever you're ready to. So that's tempting, but again, like, the sort of downside to that is you don't have to do much with them. So if we buy sheep, we're still going to end up doing all of the same stuff that we're doing now, because you don't have to interact with your sheep very much. It's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. It doesn't make for great video footage. It might be great in a game when you're playing by yourself, but I'm not sure it makes for the most interesting gameplay. So I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss on what to do next. I want to get into something that is different. So that kind of at this point leaves either animals or forestry. And we kind of have to decide between the two of those. and get stuck on the hill. This is where fertilizer spreaders are actually quite nice as compared to a sprayer like we are using, because the boom on the sprayer runs into stuff all the time. You have this nice big working width. I think this one is 24 meters, maybe something like that. But it's always hitting stuff. I'm always running into trees, or it's scraping the ground because there's a hill or something like that. Whereas the fertilizer spreaders, you know, 18-meter working width, so less, but the whole machine is only a few meters wide, so you can navigate around trees and hills and stuff like that much more effectively without having to worry about it. This field, you can just barely see the crop starting to grow there as we're spraying off the weeds. Dead weeds now. So all this is going well. We've got good crop growth. Our grass is regrowing. Our farm is doing well. We've earned some good money from contracts. And you know, the kind of purpose of the series is to experience this Farming Simulator 19 gameplay. And to some extent, you know, because we are playing Farming Simulator 19, we're seeing other things like the lighting. Goldcrest Valley was a 17 map, but it looks quite a bit different playing it on 19 because of the new lighting engine that came out in 19. I mean, this kind of cool sunrise, sunset type effect where you get this gold coloration to, you know, the sky around the sun and everything. It's really cool. The lighting engine is awesome. I love it. The shadows, how real the shadows kind of look, and they move with time. If you fast forward time really quickly, you can watch the shadows move. Just really, really interesting stuff. I love what they did with 19, and this will get us a good baseline to go into Farming Simulator 22 and see what the differences are. So that's 2 of our 3 fields done as far as spraying weeds. We got 1 more to go, and then I guess we got to figure out what to do. I really was thinking I would do sheep, but now I'm really questioning whether or not I want to do sheep. The other issue I have with doing horses is they're quite a distance from our farm. You know, they're all the way kind of up in the very top right-hand corner of the map, and not very close to the farm. So it's going to mean a lot of driving back and forth to go up there and take care of them, ride them, and things like that. But we could probably deal with that. Forestry is, you know, it's funny because forestry came in Farming Simulator 15, but it's an aspect of Farming Simulator that I almost never really get into. We did a little bit of, I don't even know if I'd call it forestry, but you know, a little bit with some of the forestry components here on this map when we took it down a bunch of the trees and chopped them up for wood chips. So we got a little bit of that, but obviously there's a lot more to forestry that, you know, we could get into some of the big forestry equipment and really chopping down trees and making money from it. And I so rarely do it. It would probably be a good thing to be able to do in between a lot of the field work here. I don't know. I just don't know. It's been around since Farming Simulator 15, you know, that's when it came out, so it kind of makes me like, well, it's one of the older features. I'm not really sure if I want to do that or not, but at the same time, you can make quite a bit of money, I think, doing forestry. And it's a whole bunch of equipment that I rarely use. So it might not be a bad deal to get into. I almost always get into animals. That's kind of my, whoops, that's not even what I meant to do. That's kind of the way I tend to play Farming Simulator. I do what I need to do to make some money, whether it's contracting or harvesting my initial fields or something. And then I get into animals. I find the animal portion of the gameplay to be, I don't know, for me, very entertaining. I like it. Doesn't add a lot of variety though, so maybe we will. Let's just, we're about done here. I'm just finishing up this last little strip of weeds that I left, and apparently I left a strip of weeds there, but oh well. What if we were going to get into forestry? What would it cost us? Forestry Machine. So this one, I remember this from the initial, part of the game. This can cut down trees as well, but not as big of trees. That one doesn't have a cutter on it. That's just for moving them. So this one is cheaper than like these big guys over here, but it can only cut down small trees. Which, of course, small trees are not going to make you as much money. It might also be a little more frustrating because you keep coming across trees that you can't work with. And it's going to cost, I mean, if we obviously can't buy that, but we could lease it for $14,000. This one is going to cost $22,000 to lease. You'd have to do a good amount of forestry, I think, to make your leasing costs back. We would also need some way to transport the logs to a sell point, at least eventually. We probably could get away with initially logging pretty close to the sell point. We do have a trailer, but that would require a truck. We could do one of these trailers. Is this like a really small trailer? No, it's pretty big compared to this. Those seem to be very similarly sized to me. Oh, you can do bales with that one now? I had no idea you could even do that. That's cool. I don't know. I mean, maybe the other one's a little bit longer, but this one's half the price. So you could always get that to pick logs up with, and then take them to the sell point. It's very intriguing. I don't really want to go do... Why did I just get charged $1,000 for new vehicles? I didn't buy anything. Well, that's just silly. The other thing we probably need to do is fertilize our fields. Yes, we do. I forgot about that. And the sawmill is right up here. Let's take a jump over there real quick. So, if we wanted to we could hop in and do some forestry and just start taking trees from around here and kind of dragging them with the machine down into the sawmill and then selling them. Is this the sell point for the logs? I don't know. It has like a little information icon, but nothing comes up, and I can't click on anything. And I honestly don't remember where the sell point for the actual logs is. That must be it, because the only other sell point I can find is this one over here, which is for the wood chips. So that's the wood chip sell point. This must be the log sell point. You drive through here, somewhere around here, you could hit a button to sell the logs. Maybe it's that little information icon. I don't know. I don't want to go fertilize the fields right now because we just did spraying, and I don't want to get too repetitive. Let's get, I tell you what, we want to do something different. Let's get into some logging. Let's do it. We're going to do it with, we could really do it even cheaper if we got just one of these trailers and a chainsaw and we cut stuff up by hand. But it's less interesting because you don't get to drive the big equipment. I think that's what we'll do. That's the thing that probably makes the most sense. Hold on. I want to make sure that I do not have that set to on. So let's go. I think I'm going to try this Anderson trailer. I've honestly never used this for forestry, and I'm curious how well it works. And I've used the other one. What's the other one? The Stepa? I don't know. I've used that one before. So I know how it works. I know kind of what it feels like. I'm curious to sort of compare it to that one. What we need is something to pull it with, and I think we're going to use this case tractor. So we need to run down to the store, go get that trailer, take it up to somewhere close to the sawmill. We're going to start right next to the sawmill and kind of work our way out. And you know what? As I'm saying that, I just realized one of the huge flaw in my plan. You can't do that in 19. You can't just go start cutting down trees in 19 wherever you feel like it. You have to actually own the land. That is going to be a problem. So these all cost a lot of money. The ones over by the sawmill. This little bit of land kind of behind our farm, I know this has quite a few trees on it and gets us closer to the sawmill. This right here, though, that is that area right there with all those awesome trees. And I honestly, guys, I completely forgot that you have to buy the land before you can start chopping the trees down in 19. So we're kind of now in a little bit of a conundrum. We have a little bit of a issue here. Because I don't know, I could just afford this land around fields 22 and 23. Let's go take a look at that. The problem is I don't know how many trees are on that. And unlike in 19, the base kind of maps for 19, when you buy a land like that, it includes a field. So if this were one of the base game 19 maps, if we were to buy this land, for instance, it would come with fields 22 and 23, or more likely this would be split in two, but it would include the field. Here on this map, we can buy the actual fields themselves separately, but they don't come with any of the surrounding land. So it's like I could buy this with all those great logs in it, but I don't get any fields. Even if I buy this, which I think has some decent trees on it, kind of going down there to take a look right now. I mean, there's some trees, but I don't get either of the fields. So once the trees are gone, the land is a whole lot less valuable to us. It's the only one I can actually afford right now. And of course, I tipped the tractor over. Fantastic. It's the only land I can afford right now, but it doesn't have a ton of trees. It would get me more grass that I could mow. There's a decent amount of trees. Man, it's so decisions. It goes all the way up to like the road around our fields, though, doesn't it? You know. So there's quite a few trees on there, and given that it's the only one we can afford, I think we're gonna have to do it. That's not at all what I was trying to do. All right, where's my equipment? I gotta reset this thing because I tipped it over. Okay, we're down here. Yep, there we go. Well, that got us to the shop a lot quicker. It's not really what I wanted to do, but it did get us down here a whole lot quicker, didn't it? Alright, hook up to the weight. I don't know if we'll really need the weight or not, but I don't really want to leave the weight here, so just grab it. This trailer, you know, looking at it, this trailer may be smaller than the other one. I think it might be. I think that's the difference. Yeah, this is most definitely smaller than the other one. So that's why it's $20,000 when the other one is $50,000. Well, that's okay. Alright, well, let's bite the bullet here. You can buy the whole town. How funny is that? Is there any other good land that I could buy? I only have $97,000. Oh, this area. Man, it's so far from the sawmill, but this area has tons of good trees in it. All these are very expensive. This one I could just afford, but I have no idea what the trees look like there. This is an area I probably would consider buying, but I can't afford it. Annoyingly. Alright, so it's either this one, which is close to our farm, or this one. I think I'm going to do this one because it is actually a forest area. Yes. Alright, so all that money we made from contracts, the last time I left you guys, we were at about $12,000. We made all that money from contracts, and we were up at well over $100,000. And now we are back down to 11,000. So not great to see. But hopefully we are going to make some good money. And while we drive, if I set my cruise control, I can check out the shop and drive at the same time. Obviously not recommended in real life. We need a chainsaw. We do not have a chainsaw yet, but we can't. How did we cut trees down if we didn't have a chainsaw? We have to have a chainsaw. What am I thinking? We already cut trees down on this map. We have to have a chainsaw. So we do not need to go buy another chainsaw. We just need to get over to our new forest and start cutting some trees down. Excited to use this thing, see how well it works. Now that I have seen it and realize how much smaller it is than the other one, it'd be a good starter piece. If we had bought the other one, though, we would not have had enough money to buy any land. So we would have had logging equipment and nowhere to go logging. So I'm kind of glad we did this in the long run. We about made a really big mistake there. Look at all these good trees. I also notice on this map, I don't remember what the FS17 Goldcrest Valley map, exactly what it was like. But on this one, they have made almost all of the trees some version of kind of pine tree. I know that these are actually slightly different, but you look around and almost all the trees are this type of a tree. Which, you know, I would have to imagine if it wasn't like that in 17's Goldcrest Valley already, I'm sure the map maker here did that so that you can basically cut all the trees down pretty easily. There are a few non-pine trees over by our farm, and if you try cutting those ones down, they are very annoying to try to work with because you get so many limbs and stuff, and it's not a fun. They're not fun to cut down. So definitely don't recommend it. You're much better off just finding trees like this and doing it. There we go. Let's chop it down. We're just gonna go nice and low and chop it. I really don't think I will come back through here with a chipper or a stump grinder to get rid of these stumps. We'll probably just leave them. All right. And we need to cut this up into manageable pieces. Where's the end? There's the end. I would say something like that, maybe. I mean, I want them to be as long as possible to get the best amount of money for them, but I also want to be able to pick them up easily enough and fit them in the trailer without having to fight with them too much. So let's try this and see how this works. Alright, we need to position this trailer probably a little closer. That should hopefully work. And let's see what we can do. Alright. I apparently do not have any of my controls set up on the joystick for this guy. So let's see if we can figure out what the controls are. That's side to side swing. That goes, ooh, interesting. There has to be a way to just raise it. Okay, that's close and open the claw. Rotate the claw. Raise and lower the whole thing. There we go. Oh man. Rotate, open, lower the whole thing. Maybe bring it in this. Okay, so this bends it. See, that's weird. The left, right, left, left. Left mouse button. Lower, like kind of bends and unbends the thing. Almost like brings it closer to the trailer or farther away. I would have expected that to be the up down. See, you can even tell. I keep hitting it to move it up and down. What does side to side do here? Not really much anything. So now we go side to side. We need to rotate this guy a little bit, and of course we smacked it right into the trailer. This way. Now we go down. Down. There we go. Easy. Like a professional. Look at that. And the length is actually pretty good as well, I would say. A little longer than the trailer, but if I were doing this, I think in real life, I probably would make it a little longer than the trailer. This thing's controls are so confusing to me. It is going to take me a while to get used to these controls. Like that should go up and down. That shouldn't be like bend the machine. That should be up and down. And why can I not go up anymore there? It's a very interesting control scheme. I don't think I like it. Right, lower it down, rotate claw, lower it down some more. There we go. Close the claw. Look at this. Like a pro. Raise that dude up. Nice and high. Back over the trailer. Professional. Look at this. Professional right here. Rotate. And down. That one I cut almost exactly the same length. Look, man. You'd think I'd like done this before or something. Alright, move the tractor a little bit forward. Ooh, I forgot we can put the feet out. How do you do that? How do you do that? Control group crane 1. Ah, we probably have to switch control groups, don't we? How do I do that? Let's see. U? Nope. Select tool. Ah. Support arm 2. There we go. See? That's it. Put it out. Yeah, look at that. Put the support arms down. Give us a little extra stability from side to side. And back in the trailer. So this is hopefully going to make us some good money because it is slow and time consuming. Obviously, we have so far just about done one tree. And it wasn't even that big of a tree. So this is not a get-rich-quick scheme necessarily. It's going to take a good amount of work to really get any kind of money from this. But we should be able to make good money. It's just going to take a little while. All right, open the claw. That did not drop like I wanted it to. That was way too far out. Well, what can you do? Raise the support arms. Back, well, you might as well not get back in the tractor yet. Might as well cut down another tree. Lumberjacking. Oh, no, wrong way. There we go. I want it to fall that way, but I don't like the angle that it's cutting it at. Timber. There we go. Another tree down. This one I believe is about the same size. You know, and what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and run these over and sell them just to see kind of what I can get from them. Just give us a good idea without actually taking all the time to do tons of trees right here. Just because it's going to take a while. I don't want this to get too boring with just sitting here doing logs. I mean, it is kind of part of the gameplay, but I could definitely tell this might get a little old as a viewer pretty quickly. Right in front of those trees there. Excellent. I would put the support arms down, you know, but we did that first tree without really an issue, so I'm kind of tempted not to worry about it at this point. If it starts, when we get to some of the bigger trees and the trailer starts moving because the log is so heavy, then we'll probably have to use the support legs there. But as for right now, I don't really think we need to. Like, this is the biggest log we're getting from the trees. It's about as much as we can fit in the trailer anyway. And reaching out to the side like that was not causing any problems. So I think we're good. Good. That's pretty much right up to the front. We can maybe do a little more. There we go. Open it. Open it. Which way's open? There we go. That's the hardest, what I find to be the hardest part of this whole logging venture is trying to remember the mouse controls. Because I am using the mouse to do all of this at the moment. Normally I would use my joystick. I actually have a relatively nice Cytec X56 joystick, and it has several, you know, you have the main joystick, but it has several little, I don't know what I guess called mini joysticks maybe on it, that when one I guess there's only one on the stick itself, but the throttle has one as well. The one on the stick is you positioned to be operated by your thumb, and it actually I found works really well for front loader type stuff in Farming Simulator. So I've been using that lately for my front loader work, and I really like it. And with the actual joystick itself plus that, I would think it would be great for forestry. So I probably need to get it set up so that I can try it out. Once you have it set up on a joystick, I think forestry is much easier because it's more intuitive, I guess, the controls. You know, whether you push the joystick forwards or backwards, or side to side, to me, it's more intuitive. It may not really make much sense. As I'm sitting here thinking about it, it doesn't make much sense because you're really just doing the same thing with the mouse too. It's forwards or backwards, side to side. But which button do you click? Is it the right mouse button, left mouse button, both mouse buttons, and then forwards, backwards, or whatever? I don't know. I just find that when I do it on a joystick, it seems very natural, whereas doing it with the mouse, I can never get used to it. I can never remember, or just, I can never get it to become second nature. Which mouse button and which mouse movement do which action. So I don't know. It very well could be that I just don't do enough forestry because I really don't do that much forestry. Alright, let's see. Let's reach this out. I always do this with this thing. Not that I don't really think you need to, but I always do it anyway. I kind of open the claw up and then set it on top of the logs to help hold them down, which is completely unnecessary, probably, in reality, because you have tension belts, or I guess they call them tension belts, fasteners, belts that you can attach, which hold the logs in place. So probably unnecessary, but I do it anyway. Alright, let's drive this small, very small. I keep hitting C. I'm trying to zoom out. Let's drive this very small load of logs over to the, I can't get in there, I can't drive from there. Over to the sawmill and just see what we get. So this is 2 relatively small pine trees. I mean, when you compare it to what is in here, we could definitely cut down some much larger trees. I think if we do larger trees, we'll probably be able to fit 2 to 3 trees maybe on a trailer load. If we continue to do smaller trees like this, we could probably fit 5 or 6 trees on a trailer load. I'm just curious to see what 2 of these small trees will get us from the sawmill. We paid, what, $19,000 for this trailer and like $86,000 for that land. So we need to make a good $105,000 back through forestry before we even break even with this setup here. So I'm thinking that's going to take us a while. But if we could do it, especially if we can do this while our crops are growing, it's something else to do. I mean, that's the main reason I kind of got into this forestry. It's something I don't typically do very much in Farming Simulator, and it's something different than what we would normally do. The contracts are an awesome way to make money. They don't, you don't have to put any upfront cost to them. They're a great way to make money, but you're still doing the same tasks that you would do on your fields anyway. It's harvesting, fertilizing, plowing, cultivating. It's not that different. It's just it's doing the same things but making a lot of money doing it. So forestry, this will give us a break, something different that we can do while we are just kind of checking this out. I don't have too much longer yet until the release of Farming Simulator 22. So it's the 10th today, so 12 days depending on when exactly they release it. I know Giants in the past have kind of released based on Central European time, which is obviously, I assume, where Giants is. But that means, it sort of comes out, if it comes out at, 9 in the morning in Germany, it comes out at the same time, comes out simultaneously around the world. So that might be 3 in the morning here in the U.S. I don't know. We'll have to see. So either way, there's 11, 12 days left until the game comes out. We'll get probably a few more streams in, just trying some of this stuff out, doing some of this different FS19 stuff, and see what the game is like. And then as soon as 22 comes out, I really do plan on getting in and playing the game. We'll probably have to play the game just a little bit to figure some of the stuff out. And then, I don't know, we might start doing some how-to videos. I'm really thinking some of the best how-to videos might be ones with new stuff like the production chains, because that's going to be a new kind of feature in FS22, something people maybe aren't as familiar with, where, you know, how to do silage. Silage has been in the game since FS11, so, you know, new players might not know how to do it, but everybody who's played Farm Sim before knows how to do silage. So, that was only $1,800. Oh my gosh, this is going to take us so long to make our money back. I wasn't expecting a ton of money, but I was expecting like a few $1,000, maybe more like $4,000 or $5,000 for that load, not $1,800. So for small trees, you're only getting about $900 a tree, which probably means that small trees are not even worth the time to cut down, cut up. We're gonna have to just really, I think, go for the bigger trees and let the smaller trees grow up into bigger trees. That was very disappointing. That was a very disappointing amount of money. Oh no. It's gonna take a lot of forestry to make our $100,000 back that we've invested in this. Oh well. Oh well. I'm gonna take this back over to that kind of forestry area. Oh no, maybe I'll just drive this to the farm for now. I do want to quickly go spray fertilizer on our fields before they grow anymore. I really don't want to get caught out with them growing completely and then not being able to fertilize them and missing out on that extra yield that we could get. So I'm going to go spray the fields real quick, make sure we get our fertilization on there. That won't take very long. And then I don't know, I guess we're going to end up doing more forestry. That amount of money though, like, is super discouraging. It makes me not even want to do forestry. We're going to have to go cut down a couple of these big old trees and see how much money we can get for those. I really didn't pay that much attention to how much we got for wood chips. I mean, I looked at it when we were doing it, but I don't really remember it off the top of my head how much we got for a trailer wood chips. And I don't at all remember how many wood chips a tree yielded. So I don't really have a great way to compare it at this point. Maybe we just need to do bigger trees. You know, maybe the little trees just really are not worth it. We'll find out, I suppose. That'll probably be in the next stream. For right now, we're going to park this guy up. We'll probably go ahead and end the stream here. It's been almost an hour. And I am going to go do some spraying. Not herbicide spraying, because we do not... I don't even think you can kill your crops in the base game. But we already sprayed herbicide on there. There's no point in spraying herbicide on there. We need to go fill up with fertilizer again. So I'm going to go do this. I'll do this between this stream and the next one. Get the fertilizing done, and when we come back, we might be doing a little more forestry. Maybe I will have already done a little bit of the forestry. I think it would be interesting to find out how much we get from a couple of big trees and compare it. Hopefully it's more in the range of thousands instead of just like 1,000, but we'll just have to find out. So I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you get notified when we're streaming. And yeah, we'll just keep doing this until Farming Simulator 22 comes out. I think we're probably all looking forward to that at this point. So I will see you guys next time.